And Ashok Sajanhar, former senior diplomat, former ambassador of India, joins us to help us understand the EAM's words in more detail. Ambassador Sajanhar, the EAM has seen for India, India's global role. It calls for reconciling civilizational identity with the demands of sort of modern diplomacy. So to what extent is this work in progress, and to what extent is this already happening?
Thank you very much, Mark. I think considerable work has been done on this already because you see, right from the very beginning, 11 years ago when Prime Minister Modi assumed power, I think in one of his first addresses from the ramparts of the Red Fort, he had mentioned about, self pride in what we are, in our identity. And I think there's been much considerable focus on developing, whether it's taking pride in our history, in our culture, and of course not being only engaged with the past, but using the past as inspiration to move to the future and to take both opportunities and challenges from the present, like utilizing the technology, what is there. And I think India has made significant progress as far as that is concerned. All the challenges that have come our way, whether it was the COVID-19 pandemic, whether it was the Galwan attack from China, whether it is in terms of the weaponization of the supply chains that we have seen, across the whole spectrum, India has been able to deal with it effectively. More recently, the Russia-Ukraine conflict and the Israel-Hamas conflict also, India has walked a thin line, but it has preserved its own, strategic choices, and it has not been, not succumbed to any coercion or pressure that has come our way.
Ambassador Sajanhar, this summit is taking place at the JNU, which is a premier institute of our country. So to what extent, can academic institutions like JNU influence real world policy?
No, absolutely. I think the academic institutions have a huge role to play. Education has a huge role to play. And I think in that context, as you said, JNU is one of our premier educational institutions, higher education institutions, and that happens to be also the alma mater of Dr. Jaishankar and incidentally also of the Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman. So, that is a very important institution. It is not only within the country, but I think even as far as global rankings are concerned, it has acquitted itself very creditably. And by inspiring them to move forward towards Viksit Bharat, dealing with all the challenges, using all the opportunities. For instance, what Dr. Jaishankar mentioned today, the 3Ds that will stand us in very good stead. It is the demography, of course. The whole world is changing into a place for a global workforce. And there, of course, India has a huge role to play because it has, it's not only the largest population, but it also has a young population which is trained, and that is why we have seen it has gone around. And of course, as far as demand, not only within our own economy, but also growing demand. And
the third is data.
Data is the third. And because India has marked the largest population, so I think data also comes to us very quickly. And India has become, our youth has become tech savvy very, very quickly. Data is made available by our government to our citizens at, I think, the most competitive rates in the world. So, data also comes in handy. And these three are going to be very important elements of our growth towards Viksit Bharat 2047.
So, India's leadership of the Global South also obviously comes into focus. To what extent does it gain greater urgency in the current times under the current geopolitics of shifts that are taking place in the world?
Yeah, because there is such huge turbulence that is taking place. I think, every generation thinks that the turbulence that it is experiencing is the biggest that has ever taken place. But I think in our case, it could very well be true, because we have seen so much of change in geoeconomics. It is the weaponization of tariffs. It is, as far as market access is concerned, that has been weaponized. And as I said earlier, the supply chain have been weaponized. So we have to build resilience towards that. We have to have create strategies so that we protect ourselves from that and we don't make ourselves vulnerable to that. So I think India is dealing with those challenges as far as markets are concerned. Whether it is the India UK FTA, India EU FTA that we are working towards India Mercosur free trade agreement, and also reaching out to Africa, reaching out to the ASEAN countries. So I think that definitely is there, but also in terms of better infrastructure, not only for doing business, but also for our security purposes, because that is very, very important.
Indeed.
And then also in terms of this is
Sure. Ambassador Sajjanad, the EAM also emphasizes that there should be strategic recalibration. There are lots of challenges, as we are talking about. I mean, there are also challenges of AI, for instance, that we talked about, data. Then there is the youth that can take advantage of this. What kind of do you see? I mean, this is taking place, after all, in an educational institution. Do you see the young scholars, let's say, play a greater role in bringing about a sort of a generational shift in policy making, because we have to think about the future?
No, absolutely. I think whatever future beckons, whatever future holds, it is our youth which has really to be able to take full advantage of that. And I think in that context, what you mentioned, data, and what EA mentioned there, as far as data is concerned, as far as technology, whether it is AI, whether it is semiconductors, and whether it is robotics, all these new technologies, I think India is prepping itself to be in the forefront. We are going to have this AI Future Summit.
Yes.
India had participated last year earlier this year in France, and next year is going to be in India. And we are investing very heavily as far as manufacture of semiconductors is concerned. So I think across the board,
Yes.
we are working towards it, so that India lost out on the industrial revolution last time, because India was not a free country, it was a colonized country. But today we are free and we are taking full advantage. We are
Absolutely.
determined to take full advantage of the opportunities that come our way.
We leave it there. Thank you very much, Ambassador Ashok Sajjanad. Thank you for putting that into perspective for us.